My name is Margie Burness, and I am 51 years old, and I have been diagnosed with breast cancer. I found out in May that I had breast cancer. My husband and I went to see the surgeon, and she described exactly what it was. And I knew when I went that I had breast cancer. However, when she told me, I was actually kind of relieved, because I thought, the way she described it, I thought, oh, I'm not going to die. Now, for my husband, it was a different thing, because in the back of his mind, he was really hoping that it wasn't breast cancer. I think he thought, no, look at you, you're so healthy, you work out, you're in great shape, you do all the right things, you eat well. Margie, you can't possibly have breast cancer. So although I was relieved with the diagnosis, he was devastated. Telling your family that you have breast cancer is incredibly hard. I have never experienced anything so difficult in my entire life, where you have to really, it's not disappointment, that's not the right word, it's just, it's devastation, bringing home that diagnosis. I have never seen my daughter look so incredibly wiped out. We have a very close relationship. She's 22. I also have a son that's 20 and a son that's 15. And although my sons were very quiet, still waters run deep. They don't say very much, but my daughter wears every emotion right on her face. So it was really hard. I've never seen my husband sob, and wow, it was hard. When you're diagnosed with cancer, you try very hard to make everybody else feel better. And I tell you, you find a strength that you never thought you had. And I'm lucky because I feel I'm a very positive person. So that really helped me in trying to make other people feel better. But when your husband is sobbing, it's really hard. We've had a couple of those moments, and my husband, we've been together since I was 17. We were high school sweethearts and college sweethearts, and then we got married. So, you love the person and you know how much you care, but until you're faced with your reality that you may die, you don't really realize how much you truly care about each other. And I know I've loved him since the moment I met him, and now I know he feels the same way. I've been incredibly lucky. I've gone through chemo. I had 6 rounds of chemo, and I didn't spend a day in bed. I got up and got going every day, which I'm very thankful for, because seeing the looks on their faces, if I had have been sick, that would have killed me. So, I'm very thankful for the drugs that I got that helped me stay healthy throughout this whole treatment. With the breast cancer, they thought that it had traveled. They thought that not only was it breast cancer, but they thought that I had a spot on my spine, which made it even worse because the cancer had moved. But along the way, I've got a lot of happy news. I had successful surgery. I had a mastectomy 3 weeks ago. And right after I had the mastectomy, I found out that my cancer had not traveled, which is very good. The one thing that you do find out with cancer is that, with every phone call, with every doctor's visit, cancer patients have, like I compare to like this wrecking ball over your head. With every appointment you go to, you think, oh, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? What's going to happen today? With every phone call you get, for every appointment you have, is somebody going to tell you, good news or bad news? And the hard part about that is it will never end. Because of my positive nature, I always think, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. It is what it is. And whatever they tell you in this appointment, you'll deal with it, and you'll be fine, whatever the outcome is. I work at our local hospital, which is Quinte Healthcare, Belleville General, and I work in administration. I work with our chief nursing officer. So I just have the privilege of working with a lot of people in our hospital. I've got a lot of incredibly good friends, both in the hospital, in the community. I've been involved with hockey, and through that I've met a lot of people. And when I found out I had cancer, it's amazing how many people stepped up. I heard from people that I haven't heard from in a long time, and it's very interesting how people react when you have cancer. Some friends that I thought that would really step up and would be the first ones to call, they didn't call. And then those that I really didn't expect to hear from were the ones that showed up at my door with food and cards and flowers, and you know, they're calling me all the time. Cancer is really hard to deal with, and you'll find that your friends really, some of them just don't know how to act, and they don't know what to say. My one friend said, "Margie, I just couldn't call you." She said, I couldn't get the words out. You know, I would have just cried. And I said to her, I understand, it's really tough. You don't know what to say to someone when they have cancer. But I think the most important thing is just to call and say, I don't know what to say, but I'm thinking about you. I found that there's a lot of things that have really helped me along the way. I have a lot of really good girlfriends, and you rely on your friends heavily to help you through it. I know that I have friends that we do a cottage weekend every year, and I was so glad that I was able to still go and enjoy it, and those friendships are so important. Along the way, other things that have really helped have been, I laugh because anybody that knows me knows I'm a shopper, and there's a lot of things that you give up when you have cancer. As a woman, if you're vain, well, you better figure that's all going to end, because, you know, 2 weeks after you're into treatment, your hair goes. And I mean, for any women, hair is such an important thing. Well, you lose your hair, and then as you go along the way, well, you lose your eyebrows, you lose your eyelashes. I joke with my family that I wake up in the morning with no face on and have to put it on before I go anywhere. So the one thing that's really helped me is retail therapy. And little things like getting together with my girlfriend on Friday nights to drink that special wine. And as she says, there is no time for bad wine. So we're going through the LCBO and picking up all the best bottles of wine and enjoying them. Throughout the last 4 or 5 months, with everything I've been through, I know when I was first diagnosed, the first thing I did was call 2 of my girlfriends that have had breast cancer, and they were an especially good resource, because everybody's sympathetic when you're diagnosed with cancer, and everybody wants to be able to do something for you, but you really need someone that has gone through it to truly understand what you're going through. And although everybody's cancer is different, they both provided me with a lot of insight and a lot of first-hand information. You know, when I said, oh my God, chemo, am I going to get sick, and what happens, you know, along the way. And it's really important to have that resource of someone that can really help. My sister said something very interesting that has stuck with me all the way along. She said, there is always hope. She said, you know, when you get the diagnosis, you hope it's not that bad. And then when you have your chemo, well, you hope you won't get sick. And then at the end of it, when you have your surgery, you hope that they got the tumor and that, you know, your margins are clear. But she said, you know, if the news isn't good, you hope that your pain won't be too bad, or that you hope that the stress on your family is not too great. And that's one of the things that carried me along the way. So my hope is that I get to help some cancer patients and sort of ease their burden along the journey.